Trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship, whether personal or professional. When someone lies to us, it chips away at that foundation, causing us to question everything we thought we knew about the other person. That's why it's crucial to recognize who is genuine and who is not. Lying is more common than we think. We've all been guilty of telling a small white lie at some point or another, but when it becomes a habit, it can be devastating. People lie for various reasons, from fear of rejection to a desire for power and control. The problem is, when someone lies to us repeatedly, we start to doubt our own perception of reality. We begin to wonder if we're the ones who are crazy for believing what they told us in the first place. The prevalence of lying can have a significant impact on our relationships. When someone lies to us, it's not just a personal betrayal, but it can also affect our ability to trust others in the future. We may become more skeptical, always looking for signs of dishonesty in others. And when we catch someone in a lie, it can be difficult to forgive and move forward. The lying can be so subtle too. A friend might tell us they're too busy to hang out, when in reality they're just not interested. A romantic partner might say they're working late, when they're actually out with someone else. These small lies may seem harmless, but they can add up and ultimately destroy the trust in a relationship. There are different forms of lying, from small white lies to significant betrayals. A small white lie might be telling a friend that their new haircut looks great when it doesn't. A significant betrayal might be hiding a serious secret from a romantic partner. Both can be damaging, but in different ways. The white lie might make us feel like we're being manipulated, while the significant betrayal can make us feel like we've been living a lie. Here are some points which will help you in understanding people. 1. People can be motivated by hidden agendas. Blind trust often ignores the possibility that people may have hidden motives or personal interests, which can lead to manipulation or betrayal. Trusting someone without understanding their intentions leaves you vulnerable to exploitation. Blind trust often involves surrendering your judgment to another person without questioning their motives. This can be dangerous because not everyone has your best interests at heart. For example, a colleague at work might seem supportive but could exploit your trust to advance their career at your expense. Similarly, a friend might appear helpful but might have ulterior motives, such as gaining financial or emotional benefits from the relationship. When you trust blindly, you skip the essential process of assessing whether the person is worthy of your trust. Human behavior is complex, and while most people act in good faith, some may prioritize their interests over yours. Hidden agendas may not always be malicious. They could arise from simple selfishness or misunderstandings. For instance, someone may give you advice based on what benefits them rather than what benefits you. If you blindly follow their guidance, you risk making decisions that don't align with your goals. History and literature are filled with examples of betrayal due to hidden agendas. In Shakespeare's Othello, the protagonist trusts Iago blindly, failing to see his manipulative intentions. This blind trust ultimately leads to tragic consequences. Similarly, in real-life scenarios, scams and frauds often succeed because the victim places blind faith in the perpetrator, ignoring warning signs. To protect yourself, it's essential to assess people's motives and question their actions, even when they appear genuine. Building trust should be a gradual process based on consistent behavior and evidence. Healthy skepticism allows you to balance trust with caution, ensuring that you don't fall prey to hidden agendas. 2. Trust needs to be earned, not freely given. Blindly trusting someone undermines the principle that trust must be earned through consistent actions, honesty, and reliability. Without observing someone's behavior over time, you risk placing faith in someone who may not deserve it. Trust is one of the most valuable aspects of human relationships, but it is not something that should be given freely. It is a bond that strengthens over time as individuals prove their reliability and integrity through their actions. Blind trust, on the other hand, skips this critical process and assumes that a person is trustworthy without any evidence. Imagine meeting a stranger who promises to help you achieve a significant goal, such as starting a business or resolving a personal issue. If you trust them blindly without verifying their expertise or intentions, you might end up wasting your resources or being manipulated. A person's ability to earn trust is demonstrated through their past actions, consistency, and willingness to be transparent. Relationships, whether personal or professional, require a foundation built on mutual respect and understanding. A trustworthy person acknowledges the importance of trust and works to maintain it. They communicate openly, admit mistakes, and prioritize fairness. When trust is earned, it creates a secure and dependable connection. On the other hand, blindly trusting someone can lead to disappointment or harm when the person fails to meet your expectations. This principle also applies to broader societal interactions, such as choosing leaders or supporting organizations. People in positions of power often seek to gain trust through charisma or promises rather than actions. By blindly trusting such individuals, society risks enabling corruption, incompetence, or betrayal. Trust is not an entitlement, it is a privilege that must be earned. By observing and evaluating someone's actions over time, you can make informed decisions about who deserves your trust. This approach not only protects you from harm, but also encourages accountability in relationships. 3. Emotional attachment can cloud judgment. Blind trust often arises from emotional attachment, which can impair your ability to judge someone's character objectively. Strong emotions can make you overlook red flags or rationalize harmful behavior. Human beings are emotional creatures, and our feelings often influence our decisions, including whom we trust. While emotions can strengthen bonds, they can also cloud our judgment, leading to blind trust. For example, in romantic relationships, people often trust their partners implicitly, ignoring warning signs of infidelity or dishonesty because they are emotionally invested. Emotional attachment creates a sense of loyalty and dependence, which can make it difficult to view situations objectively. This is particularly true in relationships where trust is tied to love, friendship, or familial bonds. When emotions dominate, you might dismiss logical reasoning and overlook inconsistencies in someone's behavior. For instance, a parent may trust their child blindly, believing they can do no wrong, even when evidence suggests otherwise. Similarly, friends may support each other unconditionally, even when one friend is acting unethically. The danger of blind trust fueled by emotions is that it can lead to denial. You may rationalize harmful behavior, convincing yourself that the person has good intentions despite evidence to the contrary. This denial can prolong toxic relationships and expose you to unnecessary pain or risk. To counteract the influence of emotions, it's essential to cultivate self-awareness and practice critical thinking. Recognize when your feelings are clouding your judgment and take a step back to evaluate the situation objectively. Seek input from trusted third parties who can provide a fresh perspective. By balancing emotional attachment with rational analysis, you can build healthier and more trustworthy relationships. 4. People are fallible and make mistakes. Blind trust disregards the fact that everyone is human and prone to mistakes. Even those with good intentions can make errors that may inadvertently harm you if you rely on them without question. Human beings are inherently imperfect, and no one is immune to making mistakes. This truth applies to everyone, including those closest to you, such as family, friends, or trusted colleagues. Blind trust places unrealistic expectations on people, assuming they will always act flawlessly or have all the answers. This assumption can lead to disappointment, frustration, or even harm when things go wrong. Consider a scenario where you blindly trust a friend to handle a critical task for you, such as managing finances or organizing an important event. Even if their intentions are pure, their lack of expertise, oversight, or a simple error could lead to significant consequences. Trusting blindly in their capabilities without verifying or offering support might result in financial loss or failure to achieve the desired outcome. Moreover, even professionals, doctors, lawyers, or consultants are not infallible. For example, a doctor might misdiagnose a condition, or a lawyer might overlook a critical detail in your case. While their professional knowledge is valuable, blind trust can prevent you from seeking a second opinion or doing your own research, leaving you vulnerable to potential harm caused by human error. Blind trust also creates an imbalance in relationships. When you place someone on a pedestal and assume they are incapable of making mistakes, you might ignore your own responsibility to critically analyze situations. This over-reliance can lead to a passive approach to decision-making, where you depend entirely on others without considering alternative perspectives or solutions. To avoid the pitfalls of blind trust, it's crucial to recognize and accept human fallibility. Instead of expecting perfection, focus on fostering open communication and accountability. When someone you trust makes a mistake, address it constructively rather than reacting with blind loyalty or excessive blame. By maintaining a balanced perspective, you can build stronger, more resilient relationships while protecting yourself from unnecessary risks. 5. Trust without verification can lead to exploitation. Blind trust eliminates the need for verification, creating opportunities for deceit or exploitation. By trusting someone without verifying their words or actions, you expose yourself to potential harm, manipulation, or fraud. The phrase trust but verify emphasizes the importance of balancing trust with accountability. Blind trust, however, bypasses this crucial step, leaving you vulnerable to exploitation. When you take someone's words or actions at face value without confirming their authenticity, you open the door to potential deceit. This is particularly risky in situations involving money, personal safety, or sensitive information. For example, in financial matters, blind trust can lead to devastating outcomes. Scams often succeed because victims place unquestioning faith in the scammer's promises. Investment fraud, where people are persuaded to invest in fake schemes, thrives on blind trust. Victims often fail to verify the legitimacy of the offers, believing in the scammer's convincing demeanor or fabricated credentials. Personal relationships are also susceptible to exploitation when trust is given unconditionally. For instance, in abusive relationships, the abuser may manipulate their partner into believing they are acting out of love or care. Blind trust in such scenarios prevents the victim from recognizing the abuse and taking action to protect themselves. Similarly, friends or family members might exploit your trust for financial gain, emotional control, or other selfish motives. The digital age has further amplified the risks of blind trust. Social media, online dating, and digital transactions often involve interactions with strangers or acquaintances whose intentions are not always clear. Trusting someone blindly online, such as sharing personal information or money, can lead to identity theft, cybercrime, or emotional harm. To safeguard yourself, it's essential to adopt a habit of verification. This doesn't mean you should be distrustful of everyone, but rather that you approach situations with a healthy level of skepticism. Verify facts, check references, and seek evidence before making decisions based on trust. For example, if a stranger offers a business opportunity, research their background and ask for documentation. If a friend asks for a loan, clarify the terms and assess their ability to repay. Ultimately, trust is a two-way street that requires transparency and accountability. By incorporating verification into your trust-building process, you can create stronger, more reliable connections while protecting yourself from exploitation. Conclusion: why blind trust should be avoided. Trust is a cornerstone of human relationships, but blind trust given without thought, evaluation, or verification can lead to unnecessary pain, disappointment, and harm. While trust is essential for building strong connections, it must be balanced with rational judgment, critical thinking, and accountability. By blindly trusting others, you relinquish your ability to make informed decisions and open yourself up to manipulation, exploitation, and the consequences of human fallibility. Each of the reasons discussed hidden agendas, the necessity of earning trust, emotional biases, human error, and the dangers of unverified trust illustrates that trust is not an entitlement but a responsibility. Trust must be built gradually, nurtured through consistent actions, and maintained through transparency and communication. Blindly giving trust undermines these principles and places you in a position of vulnerability. This does not mean you should live in perpetual suspicion or fear, as excessive distrust can also damage relationships and hinder collaboration. Instead, aim for a balanced approach. Trust people based on evidence and past behavior while remaining cautious and ready to reassess when necessary. Adopt the principle of trust but verify to ensure that your relationships, decisions, and interactions are grounded in reality rather than assumptions. Ultimately, the goal is not to avoid trusting others altogether but to trust wisely and intentionally. In doing so, you safeguard your well-being while fostering meaningful relationships based on mutual respect, honesty, and accountability. Trust should be a bridge that connects people, not a blind leap into the unknown. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you've had a similar experience with someone who lied to you, please share it in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about trust issues, check out my next video, where I'll be discussing how to rebuild trust in a relationship.